and welcome to the MineWreckers server. My name is Weird and Bearded, and today we have a big project on. Today we're going to be building our iron farm, the Iron Amphitheatre Mark II. This is the farm that was built on the last server, but now it is going to be upgraded. This is going to be a big group project, so we're currently gathering the last of the materials. We're going to be recording soon. It's actually Minecraft Live in about half an hour, so we're all going to watch Minecraft Live. Then we're going to get together and get this thing done. If I think, from what I can tell, we do now have everything done. I've just spoken with somebody who's been collecting zombies for us. So I'm just waiting for some food to cook, make sure I've got enough stuff, and then I'm going to head over. I will see you over there. We are over in the desert. We are just east of spawn. Spawn's just over there. You can see we've dug out a large pit ready for the farm. We have collected a load of zombies and husks. We've collected a load of villagers. Hopefully all the building materials we need. We have myself, we have Top, we have Rin. Say hello, Top and Rin.
Hello.
Hello.
And I think we're ready to get going. We'll see how many of us are still here by the end of this, because it is getting quite late in the day. Let's go.
Let's go.
So here we have it, the Iron Amphitheatre in all its glory. Of course, the question now is what to do for the rest of the episode, but fortunately, there is a very simple solution. The farm doesn't work. I have a way to fix it, but we need to talk about that. In fact, we need to talk about quite a lot, because it's an interesting problem. So we're going to be talking about why this is Mark II. What was the problem with Mark I? How did I fix it in Mark II? Why that solution doesn't work, and why it's going to be virtually impossible to fix without causing major problems, having to do major rework, and what solution I'm going to be implementing instead, which I have tested just this morning. Seriously, it's been less than 12 hours. We already have a new solution. I need to collect the resources for it, but it should be ready to go. But in the meantime, let's find out what went wrong. So the Mark I looked very similar to the Mark II. However, I noticed that the rates were slowing down. So I did a 1 hour test to see if I could figure out why in my mob testing world, and discovered that the villagers were dying at quite an alarming rate. Within that 1 hour test, I lost somewhere between 10 and 12 villagers. And the problem was the beds. Specifically, the bed layout. So initially, the bed layout looked like this. So they'd wake up directly into the water, their heads were by the water so they could get to their beds nice and easily. But at night time, I have the zombies to wake them up, so they still go up and down the tubes and still spawn in iron golems, but they fall down and go straight to bed, which means they go to bed with momentum and can shift on the bed. So sometimes they were going to sleep with their heads in the water, and then they would take 1 point of drowning damage, wake up and go back to bed normally. And this accumulated. And the fact that it killed so many of them so quickly just showed how often it was happening. So clearly, I needed something better. So what I came up with was this sublime bed placement. They also have access to the water, but their heads are much further away. Their heads weren't going into the water. I did a 20-minute test all at night, so they were constantly falling into the beds with momentum. Not a single villager was damaged. A very simple solution. Is a little awkward to get them into the beds, so you've got to kind of do it one bed at a time. But once they've found their beds, they're good. Or so I thought. Let's wait till night time and have a little look at what's going on. The moon is rising, night has fallen. I'm in my camera mode. Well, let's take a look at these villagers, and it seems that they're all still awake. But all is not as it seems, because they aren't actually all still awake. For some reason, 39 of the pods have failed, and this one villager. But those two have managed to find their beds. They are the only two villagers who have managed to keep their beds. I went up too high. So clearly, something's gone wrong, and we're going to have to make them find their beds again. So you know how I said that getting them into their beds initially was a pain? To get them back into their beds, I'm going to have to take out the beds, remove some of the blocks around them so they can move around, get rid of the water as well, then get them to their beds one by one once again, checking them each night to make sure they found the beds, then put the water back in and the blocks back in, hoping that they just happen to congregate in the middle. That's going to be so much work for each pod. And there's 40 to do. So this solution is not going to happen. So what are we going to do about this issue? Well, you may recall that I said that when they woke up after taking the damage, they then went back to bed and slept normally. So we're going to take advantage of that fact. And what we're going to do, if we go back down below, here we have the zombie that wakes them up at night. We are simply going to make sure that the zombie stays down for a little bit longer, so that once they land, they'll go to sleep but immediately be woken up by the zombie again, so they're not going to have time to drown, but they'll be close enough to their beds where they'll be able to go back to sleep normally afterwards. And it is important that they do go to sleep, because if they stay awake for too long, they lose the ability to spawn in iron golems. That's why it's not working at the moment. There's only one pod that's actually able to get to sleep. Well, I've designed a new system. I'm going to collect the resources, and then we're going to implement it. Everything's been collected. It's all ready to go in my inventory. This is all we need for all 40 sections. That's mainly because I've already placed a load of polished andesite. We've dug down everywhere, made sure everything's ready to go. This is hopefully quite simple. We start off with some sticky pistons. We're going to have one facing straight down with an observe. This is how we're going to start this. We could have gone off that line, but I didn't want to change that line too much. Because if we add more delay to it, it could change some timings. We are going to have to change it a little bit, though. We're going to get rid of these 3 blocks. So one of them is simply going to get moved up. The other 2 are turning into obsidian. We'll have a spare block there that we're going to get rid of. And then while we're not going to be able to see these being placed, we need a repeater going into that block and then redstone dust over there. So that's going to keep the signal going across. And then to turn it off again later, we're just going to remove that block. So that's what this bit's all about. So when this observer comes up, it's going into a 2-tick repeater and into some comparators. So this is going to allow the signal to slowly fade out. But while it does so, it's going to be loading up another one, which is going to be a bit longer. This is all just for timing. So by the time this delay disappears, the villagers will have gone to bed. Been in there for maybe a second. Certainly not long enough to actually start drowning. So after this one, we have another bit of signal there. That goes into 2 repeaters. Then we get another regular block with a redstone torch on top. I'm going to need to climb up slightly so I can get the sticky piston placed. And then we have a slime block there. So that's going to move that block up and down. That's why we've got the obsidian, so that the slime block doesn't attach to anything. And that's that system built. So I'm not going to do that another 39 times. Well, that is the redstone all in place. I did have to make one change, mainly because I didn't have enough repeaters and I couldn't be bothered to go back to my base and get more. So they've all been replaced with a bit of redstone dust right at the end. Now it's time for the awkward bit, replacing the beds. So the first thing I'm going to do is just block off this bit of water because we're going to be getting rid of that glass and I don't want it to spread. So I'm going to do that with a stair block so that afterwards I can break the stair and the water will still be there. Don't have to worry about that. Next, let's not really fully thought this through. We're going to get a block on there as a temporary measure, and we'll break this bed first, and then try and take that water. Now I imagine that has broken things. I'm going to pick that up and fix that later, and next time, do it better. Got to get rid of the water first. Note for next time. So now I can replace that bed. Oh, I need to get rid of this bit of glass. Okay, that is one bed placed. That has fallen down by the looks of things. Nope. Ah, I see where it is. Yeah, there's definitely going to be more awkward. I'll make sure to bring more scaffolding with me for the next ones. There we go. So we can place that bed in there. And then I need to get round to the other side. Probably with the scaffolding. So let's grab that. And we're coming round here. I'm just going to break this last bed, replace that. So the next step is to place the water back in. And I'm going to be doing this at night, I need to get them to sleep first before I place in that second water bucket. So I've got to do that 39 times. As you can see, the villagers have all gone to bed. The new system is working. I have actually already tested this. I know it's all fully functional. Let's turn it on and have a little look at how this thing is working. So you'll see they're all going to go up and down their tubes individually, and then we're going to catch them on the corner. So there's the first set of villagers going up. So clearly they're waking up to go into their water streams, and then when they're at the top, they're going to be scared by those zombies that create some iron golems at the top. You can already see some moving. We'll take a look at just how impressive that is in a moment. But let's go back into the free cam mode, so I can check things out at the bottom. We're going to catch it once it gets to here. So what we're hoping to see, the zombie will come down, the villagers will go up, and then the zombie will remain down when they're coming back down, so they can go back to sleep properly. So we see that one's already gone. So the zombie's gone down, they've woken up, then they'll be sent up to the top. The zombie gets pushed back up for a little bit, but then brought back down. Then when they land, they go immediately back to bed, then they wake up again, and then when the zombie goes back up, they can go to bed properly. All fully functional, and at the top you can see this is a good farm. We are getting a lot of iron golems from this. So I did a 15-minute test earlier. We got 34 stacks and 55 of iron from 15 minutes. This is a good farm. If you like the farm, please give the video a like, subscribe if you haven't already. But that's not the end of the video. There is one more thing we still have to do. Before we move on, forgot to mention, Beast of the North also helped out with the build. He wasn't quite there from the beginning, but he came in while we were time-lapsing, helped with moving mobs, all that sort of thing. Thanks, Beast. Okay, the clucking is coming from somewhere around here. Where though? There we go. Found ya. Now, I know you're not the only one, but I also know who placed you. Let's go deal with that issue. So, Beast of the North, you think 2 chickens is a good prank, do you? Just 2 chickens hidden in my base. There may be more, I haven't found them yet, but 2 chickens. Let's see what a real prank looks like. You call yourself the Beast of the North, but my base is clearly more northerly than yours. So now it's just a case of who can be more beastly. Your move, sir.